The Titanic. Even a century later, its name echoes with tales of grandeur, tragedy, and unsung heroism. Beyond the captivating stories of its passengers, there's a lesser-known tale, that of the telegraph operators sending desperate messages into the vast, cold night. But before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to get notified every time I upload a new video, click the bell icon as well. It really helps me out and I appreciate it a lot. Alright, let's get started. When the Titanic began its journey in 1912, it had a unique feature for that time, a wireless telegraph. This technology let ships talk to each other using Morse code. An Italian man named Guglielmo Marconi invented this system, and he even had a company for it by 1897. Because it was new, there weren't clear rules for emergency messages. Even though the technology was fresh, it was crucial on that tragic day. This telegraph was the reason many people were rescued. During the day, messages could travel about 300 miles. But at night, they could go much further. Marconi's company hired people to work on ships like the Titanic. John Phillips and Harold Bride were the two in charge of sending and getting messages on Titanic. One of them would work while the other slept. There was a special place called Cape Race in Newfoundland that received these messages. These two men, especially Phillips and Bride, were very busy. Travelers on the Titanic loved sending messages to their families and friends. But as the events unfolded that night, the messages sent out told a real-time story of the disaster. One big detail was that Titanic ignored early warnings about icebergs. Another ship, called the Mesaba, warned Titanic about dangerous ice at 9:40 p.m. However, for reasons unknown, Phillips didn't share this warning. An hour later, another ship, the Californian, told Titanic it was stuck in ice. But Phillips was so busy he told them to stop messaging him. This shows how overwhelmed he was, missing crucial information from nearby ships. In the end, the telegraph played a pivotal role in the tragic saga of Titanic. It provided a window into the events of that night and stands as a testament to the rapid advancements in communication during that era. Picture this. It's the night of April 14th and the Titanic, the most magnificent ship of its time, hits an iceberg. But here's the surprising part. Many on board didn't even realize it happened. Some passengers were tucked in their beds, dreaming away. Others who were awake just felt a tiny shake, like when you bump into something gently. Around midnight, the captain, Edward Smith, let Phillips and Bride, our telegraph duo, in on the news. The Titanic had hit an iceberg. Bride later shared that they were both stunned. They had hardly felt anything, so how could the ship be in danger? But the captain was clear. Get ready to send out distress signals. So, about 10 minutes after getting the captain's message, the two operators sent out their first call for help. It wasn't a casual, "Hello, we need assistance." It was a CQD, CQD, Titanic to all ships. For those of you who might not know, CQD was the way Marconi's company said, "Help! Emergency!" Now think about that for a second. The ship everyone believed was unsinkable was now sending out emergency signals. It's a stark reminder that even the grandest of things can face challenges. But through it all, communication remained a lifeline, proving its importance in the gravest of situations. Things got really intense after the iceberg hit. Phillips started sending out messages super fast, kind of like someone texting their friend in an emergency. One of his messages to a ship named Carpathia was straight to the point. "Come quick, we hit an iceberg. Emergency, buddy." He also messaged another ship, Frankfurt, telling them exactly where the Titanic was and that water was pouring in. Imagine the shock of the operators on other ships. They were picking up these desperate calls from the Titanic. Some ships that heard the Titanic's cries for help included the Olympic, Titanic's own sister ship, and others like Celtic, Caronia, Asian, and Virginian. But here's the twist. Many of them couldn't believe what they were hearing. They thought, Titanic? In trouble? Impossible. Back on the Titanic, as water was filling the ship, Phillips and Bride stayed at their posts. It's like they were glued to their chairs, doing their job even in the face of danger. By 12:15 a.m., people started getting into lifeboats. Over the next hour and a half, message after message was sent. each giving the ship's location. And then, hope. At 12:32 a.m., Carpathia messaged back, saying they were on their way. The tale of that night and the frantic messages sent out stands as a testimony to the dedication of telegraph operators. Their determination to communicate the dire situation, even amidst the chaos, is nothing short of heroic. Time was running out for the Titanic, but Phillips and Bride didn't give up. Even though Carpathia was on its way, they kept sending out distress signals. Bride then had an idea. He said to Phillips, "Let's try sending an SOS. It's new, but might be our last shot." So, at 12:40 a.m., Titanic sent out its first SOS, again making it clear they were in deep trouble. The messages that followed were more urgent than before. Just imagine the scene. Water rushing in, people panicking. But amidst all that, the telegraph kept beeping. Up until 1:10 a.m., the Titanic kept giving updates. They said they hit an iceberg and needed urgent help. By 1:27 a.m., another message was sent to the Olympic. "We're getting women to the lifeboats." Just a few moments later, another chilling message. "Time's running out for us." Then, by 1:45 a.m., they described the ship's situation. The engine room was filling up with water, almost reaching the boilers. The dedication of Phillips and Bride during these final moments is truly remarkable. They stayed committed, trying to get help, updating other ships, and letting the world know about the dire situation on the Titanic. The power of communication, even in the darkest times, really shines through in this story. The night was deepening, and the Titanic's situation was growing more desperate. Yet, in the midst of it all, the telegraph machine kept tapping away. Phillips, with every ounce of energy left, was doing his best to keep communications alive. But not all ships were cooperating. Frankfurt, another ship in the vicinity, was sending messages to the Titanic. But its signals were becoming a problem. They were interfering with Titanic's desperate calls for help, especially those from the approaching Carpathia. Imagine trying to make an urgent call, and someone keeps interrupting. That's how Phillips felt. In frustration, he sent a sharp message to Frankfurt. "You are a fool, stay back, and keep out." Then, at 2 a.m., Virginia, another ship, heard from Titanic. But the message was so faint, they could barely make it out. Just 17 minutes later, Virginia caught another distress call from Titanic, but it suddenly cut off. It's like the ship's voice was slowly fading into the vastness of the ocean. Reports say that around this time, the telegraph room lost power and water began flooding in. Carpathia, the ship racing to Titanic's rescue, picked up one final heart-wrenching message between 2:15 and 2:25 a.m. The Titanic's words were clear. "We are sinking fast. Passengers are being put into boats." Amid the chaos, Phillips showed incredible dedication, but unfortunately, he didn't make it. A survivor recalled his last moments. Bride, the other operator, lived on, carrying the memories of that tragic night till he passed away in 1956. It's more than just a story of a ship. It's about the bravery of people like Phillips and Bride, their unyielding spirit, and the power of communication, even in the face of impending doom. The Titanic's story is not just about a ship's tragic end, but also about the people aboard who faced adversity with courage and determination. The telegraph operators, Phillips and Bride, stand as silent heroes, whose desperate beeps in Morse code have left an indelible mark in history. As the waves of time continue to roll on, their messages from that fateful night still whisper, reminding us to never forget. If you like what I do in here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you have some anime that you'd like me to cover, write it down in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.